Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Tonight, we're talking about the Challenge, Season 37, Spies, Lies, and Allies, Episode 5, Alien. Why was it called Alien? Well, I think we know why. We're going to get into that soon. But Jenna, I'm joined by Jenna. Hi, Jenna. How are you?
Hello. You're joined by Jenna. He's joined by Jenna.
I'm joined by Jenna. My name's Dan. And Jenna, I wanted to start off this episode by actually talking about some of the deep dive things that I did for last week's episode. And I did this by watching Tori and Anissa's podcast that they do. And they had a producer, an executive producer, Ryan Smith, was on with them. And they talked a little bit about some behind the scenes stuff. Tori and Anissa talked about some behind the scenes stuff. And I want to throw some stuff at you because we talked about it last week and it's so interesting what they said. The first thing, go ahead, sorry.
Do they go to a club or not? Because that's the most interesting. I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway that we want to know.
Right. So to let our viewers in on a little behind the scenes action, I admitted to Jenna that we find out on the Tori and Anissa podcast that they actually make a 45-minute drive to this club every episode. It was a club that was shut down for the pandemic. And what they did was they added some fun lights. They added some signage like the challenge in there, and they made it their very own personal club. So there you go. You were right.
You actually go to a club. So I was right. I was very excited about that. Also, what's interesting is that in a 45-minute drive to and from the club, there's no drunken antics or fights on the bus ride, because that used to be where you got some of the best situations on this show, the best hookups and the best drunken fights, yelling at each other. Like the bus ride was always such a scene.
Well, and don't you think, I wonder why they're not showing those scenes. Are they showing it because they don't want to let the world know that they actually are leaving the house and could be spreading COVID, which they're not because they're in a private club, but they're still leaving the house? Or are they doing it just because there's nothing really happened on the bus? I feel like stuff did happen on the bus, but they're just not showing it to us, right?
I don't know.
Okay. I just want to see if I can get you to jump on my side. That's okay. I think there's action on that bus they're not showing us, but it's fine. All right. The next thing, remember how we talked about Anissa getting hurt and how everybody else just kept running around and how it's like, well, what's Logan going to do? Logan is her partner. Is he supposed to keep going or what? Apparently, according to the podcast, the Anissa and Tori podcast, I'm not even sure they should have shared this information, but it's very interesting. When Anissa got hurt, they stopped the game for 30 entire minutes, made everybody pause in place. Tori said that she was in the mud and she stared at a worm for 30 minutes. Okay.
Wow.
And the people that got stopped at the math problem basically got a free chance for 30 minutes to solve the problem without it affecting their time. They didn't cover up the math problem, the producer didn't, they just had a view of it for 30 minutes. And Anissa said to everybody, "You're welcome, because I helped you solve that by me getting injured." So remember when we talked about Nani going back to like help her and it could like ruin her time? It didn't. They
stopped the game.
They paused the entire game for 30 minutes. Now that is because
interesting. Why did they pause it for 30 whole minutes though? Because we've seen people get hurt in other challenges and they just simply escort that person out of the game and then everybody else just continues.
And I wonder if that's the case, or if they just, remember the producer showed us some great B-roll footage to make it look like everybody else kept participating. They showed people continuing to run. But in fact, that edit was completely false, because in theory, they were all just standing there like this for 30 minutes, but they couldn't show us that. So I'm wondering if that's how it always is when someone gets hurt, but we just never see it. And the only reason I know is because I listened to their podcast. I'm not sure they should have given us that information, but I love BTS. I love behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. And it makes you think about all the people that still didn't complete their math problem, even though they're sitting there for 30 minutes, because this is what I feel about those sort of math problems, memory puzzles, riddles. If you don't get it, you just don't get it, which is sad, because if you have more time, you should be able to work through it. But I feel like if your brain automatically can't work to compute it, or at least like head down the path, the right road of completing it, you're fucked. Like it's not your day. It's not going to work for you. So they're just sitting there for 30 minutes staring at the math problem, still not able to solve it.
Exactly right. All right, any other behind the scenes stuff here?
That's really, really interesting though. That's a good takeaway. Yeah. That's cool.
So did you notice Anissa's outfit in some of her confessionals, how it was like this long, like She wore a basically they were trying to cover her sling that she was in because they didn't want to give away that she got hurt. So that was actually a scarf that production just found. They kind of just layered it on her and said, like the costume designer was like, "Can you, just rock this?" Now, apparently, we had talked about this. They really do have a legitimate costume designer, a wardrobe person who has them bring a ton of options, and they really try to make them like look a certain way. They have to get approval of all their outfits, like to a T of exactly what they want to see. So it's actually there's more that goes into it than then they just throw in whatever they want. Like back in the day, I'm not sure it was that seriously taken. But yeah.
So the cast members have to get approval from the producers to do a fit check, basically.
Exactly. So the wardrobe person sends pictures to the executive producers like Ryan Smith, and Ryan Smith jokingly said, "Yeah, just wear whatever you want." But other like producers like take it real seriously and like, "No, I need her in this. We want to see her in this." It's interesting. I didn't think they took
that is interesting because I noticed a fashion switch up in the confessionals tonight, that in one of her confessionals, Ashley was wearing like a very modest grandma sweater, and then in the other one she was like red dress, boobs out, like she was going out, and they were like right after each other. I was like, oh, okay, so obviously these are two different confessionals. But I wonder, I was thinking like, was she just not feeling it the one day where she just wasn't feeling like getting dressed up, and then the other day she was like, I want to go all out. So I don't know why I took a weird mental inventory of that I have no idea, but I would never have thought that these cast members would have to get their looks approved because I don't know, it's reality TV and they have to pack to go to a location. It's not as though they have access to their closets and have that much versatility in what they wear. I'm sure they only pack for like a month or so, and what you got is what you got. So I just feel like the producers have to accept what they wear. It's just, and that's their personality. It's them putting forward like what they like. Are they more sporty? Are they more modest? Or are they more like tight clothes, show skin, whatever the case may be?
If you make it to a final, Jenna, how long are you in that house for, do you think?
2 months.
I would say max 2 months. I'd say maybe even a month and a half or something. I don't think you're there, but still. Okay, so with that said, you need 2 months worth of clothing. You got to fit it in one suitcase. Do they get to bring more and we just don't see those suitcases? Because every time they pack up to leave, they have one suitcase. I'm like, they fit everything in that damn suitcase, every outfit that they wore in all those confessionals, and just on a daily basis. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last thing I wanted to share, just because I think it's funny, is Anissa was like, because you know how I always give Priscilla our hard time that I know nothing about this woman. They said Priscilla really good at braiding hair. So I wanted to say I finally know something about Priscilla. She's good at braiding hair. I found out tonight that Priscilla claims that she's a silent assassin. I found that out tonight. Yeah. That she says she's I thought she was just saying she's silent on the show because I never see her, but no, she's apparently just a silent assassin.
Silent.
Got it. Okay, and that's all the deep dive I wanted to do. I just thought all that stuff was pretty interesting that they talked about.
Yeah, my rule of thumb on contestants like Priscilla is those are the kind of people that I would probably really like in real life and in person, because they're more under the radar and they're actually laid back and like a good, easy, realistic temperament, and they seem rational, but they're just not like the explosive reality TV personalities,
Anissa said
you don't see a lot of them. It's probably because they're pretty normal.
You don't want that many of those type of people on a reality show for sure.
Yeah.
Anissa said that she does have a couple big episodes coming up, apparently. Priscilla does. So okay, Anissa clearly is aware of our show, and that or just aware of the show in general, that we never see her. Like she's like, clearly MTV's not showing her. Plus she obviously watches our show and says, man, that Dan guy, he's always talking trash about Priscilla.
She must. Yes.
Let's get into the episode Alien. And what are these, all of our vignettes that we saw at the beginning? Obviously we have a date to talk about. Oh my goodness.
I love calling them vignettes. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, okay. What would you call them?
I have my takes on the original vignettes where it's Huey and Emmy. They're the rookie team, and Emmy is complaining about Huey, and it's just like, Emmy, you continuously complain about your partners, but this is the fourth partner you've had. are you necessarily that easy to work with as a partner either? And you just keep blaming it on whoever you're with?
Yeah, well, some of her partners got eliminated, right? I'm not even sure. How did she lose all her partners? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, they've been brought down and she's stayed in the stands, or I guess other people after they
Which one?
won.
She won with Ed, and then Ed and her decided to not be partners together. But then
Mhm.
she chose Devin, I believe, and Devin's a hot commodity apparently.
Everyone's
So
going for Devin this year.
so he got taken away. Em, you got to choose someone maybe a little bit that you think you can work with well, but that's under the radar. And it looks like her and CT are becoming besties now. So she's probably
Yeah.
going, if she gets sent into this elimination, which it's looking like she is, I feel like I can like plan out what's going to happen. She's going to get sent because they're foreshadowing her and CT throughout this entire episode. Jenna, in the vignettes, they're foreshadowing her and CT and this newly loved partnership that you see like bubbling up, and they're going to show that CT and Berna in the challenge that they show, they're not really working together. They don't talk enough during the challenge. So if I'm predicting it, Emmy's going to go into this elimination next episode. She's going to win, and she's going to pick CT. It feels like so obvious to me. And I swear I don't know spoilers. I swear I do. If I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I was taking it as they're giving Emmy so much love and attention in this episode that it ultimately has to mean she goes home, right? Like they want to make sure that her personality has enough of a splash where it makes sense for them to bring her back for later seasons. That was kind of my thought. Because, in the beginning of an episode, the foreshadowing, it becomes pretty obvious. All of a sudden, they're super focused on this person we haven't seen all season. And this is just an analogy. This isn't specifically about Emmy in this episode, but that tends to be the trend. The whole first 10 minutes is about this one person, and that person ends up going to elimination. And then typically they go home. So
Right.
that's a possibility too. But I think her and CT being partners could actually be really interesting. I actually really love their little partnership because CT, we've all known him for so long on TV that it feels like all the viewers are kind of friends with him in a way. Like we've watched his growth.
Yeah.
But I think there was once a time where he felt like he was an outcast, and he was kind of an outcast. So I think that he sees that in Emmy a little bit and really appreciates her for that and finds it really like endearing, and he's in her corner, I think, because he sees her differently, like a younger girl in the house who she clearly, is emotional. So I think that he has a soft spot for her.
And he definitely has plenty of experience in not being able to control his emotions as well. If you remember the Real World Paris or any of his first 10 seasons on the challenge, he was beating the crap out of Adam. He's beating the crap out of everybody. I mean, he just was a crazy man. There's still definitely that side of to him as well, still to this day.
Yeah. And he's just super unapologetic in himself and his personality. And I think Emmy, I don't know, Emmy is so young that I think she honestly is struggling a little bit. She said she feels like an alien and she feels kind of out of place in the house. So I guess there's still like, she's trying to step herself, and there might still be some insecurity there. I mean, we're all insecure, so fuck it. But I think that she is bold at the same time. Like she still is. She has her hair, and her style is very eccentric, and she's trying to launch her singing and music career. So I think that she still has she's unapologetic as well. So CT sees some of himself in her, maybe.
Are you ready to go on a date right now, or?
Let's talk about this date.
So Casey and Nani, they go on a date, and I mean, I didn't want to be a jerk about this, but they're just like, oh my God, Casey, you set this all up just for me. And I said to myself, well, the producers and Casey did. I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't just Casey. I don't think Casey brought rose petals and chocolate covered strawberries in her suitcase that she had readily available. I'm pretty sure the producers set this up, but whatever. Let's not get into logistics here. Did you enjoy the date? Was it cute? What did you think of it?
So I don't know a lot about Casey, but I think a good judgment is that she would not provide frozen pizzas on a romantic date with Nani. There are dishes, food groups at this date were chocolate covered strawberries at the same time. as their frozen pizza. No, you do the entree first and then you have dessert. The fact that they had chocolate covered strawberries next to their frozen DiGiorno's, it just didn't feel like Casey set this up. I know she'd put a lot more love, thought, and care into that, and probably like spoon feed Nani some homemade pasta or something. Like it would be a lot more thoughtful than this DiGiorno pizza they had going on. I really wanted to like it. I thought it was cute, but I also thought it was super staged.
Super staged. I think I wrote that down as well. I also didn't like the date because I don't want Nani to be with Casey, and I'll tell you why. Casey has I'll tell you what. Casey has cheated on a lot of her exes, as we know from social media, as we know from people talk. And I really like Nani, and I don't want to see her get hurt by Casey, who I think is a player. And I can spot a player pretty easily because I used to be one. And I met a girl when I was 35, and now I'm 36 now, and I'm all about this girl. But it took me 35 years to find that person, is my point. So what's Casey?
But what if this is Casey's? What if in Dan years, what if this moment is Casey's 35th year? What if Nani is the game changer?
And that's what it's going to take for Casey, a player, a typical player, to settle down. And I hope that Nani can be that for her. But I just don't think that reality TV helps. I don't think it helps that Casey's becoming more and more popular on these shows for some reason. Like, she keeps coming back. She's got a lot of options, blah, blah, blah. And I do think that she's younger than me, and her mentality is that she says that she's ready, but this also is they got cameras in front of you. She wants to be back on this show. She could be doing it for the cameras a little bit. I know that she likes Nani. I can tell there's something there, but I don't know if it's a forever love. There's a lot of people in this world to choose from, Jenna. And just because you and I found ours, and Pam too. By the way, Pam,
it's been 3 weeks, Pam. When is this fucking wedding honeymoon ordeal over, Pam?
Jenna,
Can you come back to us?
Jenna, you and I got a text. We're going to get more behind the scenes. You and I got a text from Pam today. Apparently, she is locked down in Miami with some COVID protocols or something.
Was it COVID? I thought she was still just honeymooning.
I thought she said COVID on the text. Should I read it to
we had a COVID delay. I won't be there tonight.
There, see, wow, you just pulled that
COVID
up.
Delay. Another day into the honeymoon.
Yeah, you had that front and center. That you just pulled it right up.
It's on my computer.
Oh, just ready to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was my thought on the date.
I don't have the facts on Casey's relationship status, so I can only speculate, but I do remember seeing text messages from her ex that seemed to be like incriminating Casey of cheating. So we have no reason not to believe her ex,
Right.
Why she probably just wants to expose Casey, because think about when you're cheated on, you just want everyone to know what a piece of shit the other person is. So I have no reason not to believe her ex-girlfriend. So I thought that too when I saw the date tonight. I was like, I don't know, something could be sleazy about this, but again, I don't really know the facts, so I can't have too strong of an opinion, but could definitely be like a wonky situation there.
Yeah, if you in the comment section, would anyone knows in the comment section, write down if we know that. Yeah, with one hand apparently.
That looks like the Addams Family.
Yeah, look, I can make it look like it's right on the ground right now. Look, it's right on the ground.
I almost said the Einstein Family, and that couldn't be more opposite than the Addams Family.
Addams Family, though, if you haven't seen Addams Family Values, which is the sequel, I love that one even more. That one's got Joan Cusack.
It also reminded me of your favorite, Jim Carrey in Bruce Almighty, or when he's playing God and answering emails. He's like,
oh yeah. Yeah, and he's drinking his water. He's drinking his coffee. Yes, but if you know anything about Casey and Nani's relationship that's happening right now, please tell us in the comment section below. Let's get into.
I love it. Shout out to the people that do comment and they just tell us what's up instead of being like, no, fuck you guys. You guys should know this. They just let us know. They just comment and they say, hey, here's the gossip.
Let's be real here, Jenna. We are all a team here, and I include the fans and our enemies that like to write to us in the comment section. It's all part of this this show right here. It really is. I love it. You and I, we definitely read the comments. I saw you responded last week to people. I don't always respond. I give I'll do like some hearts on some things. But yeah, I love reading the comments. It's the best.
Yeah, me too.
That's all I have to say about that. Okay, great. Let's get in.
I was pondering, but I decided to just cut it at that.
Let's get into the latest and greatest power couple in the house. Do you want to talk? Do you know who that is?
That would be Esther and Josh.
Yeah.
Would talk about a blind side. Amber is all about the blind sides this season, but that was definitely a couple I was not expecting.
I think that their couple name should be Jester.
Jester, yes. Even Esther is like, what am I doing here? I think it's definitely a showmance, as they all are anyway, but I think it's just a little bit of like, they're in this house together and she's like, all right, fuck it.
This one more than ever is a complete showmance, but you know what? I'm happy to see Josh getting some. He looks real awkward kissing her in that first scene, but you know, I don't even want to make fun of the guy because I think Esther is very attractive, and I say go Josh, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, he looks awkward and then he just dips. Just leaves her in the room. Like,
how great was her reaction? I mean, I don't even know if she remembered the cameras are always on, but like such a natural reaction to like, what the hell did I just do almost? But how cute did she look in her big pink bow? I was loving it.
Yeah, yeah.
But her reaction there when he left the room was like, she's like, oh, like, oh, what am I doing? But like, it was really cute. I enjoyed it a lot.
And listen, I don't mean to make fun of or shit on Josh because we're all awkward and having the cameras around 24/7. They're always going to capture you in awkward moments. But the way he was talking to her at the club, it felt very much like early Tinder date when you're trying to get someone to like you back or something like that. Or like, I don't know, the things he was saying was like, yeah, I like you and I vibe really well. And like,
I loved it.
Positive energy, and like we just joke together. It just, it felt a little bit like.
That's why their nickname is Jester. That's why they're Jester. I actually really liked him talking in the club because I don't think I've ever seen Josh talk. We've seen him talk to girls before. Who was that girl in earlier seasons? It was Georgia? Oh my God, we're going way back. When Georgia used to be on the show, her and Josh had a little thing, but you could tell that she was just like, oh, here's my little puppy and I'll pat you on the head. Like it was. Even though Josh was a little cheesy with his lines, I actually liked him. He was showing his more manly side because we always see him so like crybaby-ish. So I actually really enjoyed him at the club, even though some could see it as awkward. I was just happy to see him. I don't want to say acting like a man because that's so misogynistic of me to say that, but he was manning up and he was talking to a lady that he liked and he wanted to show her that he liked her by saying all these things about them. I enjoyed it. So there you go.
Yeah.
And I still want to believe, Jenna, that in 2021, a man can be a man and a female can be a female if they want to be.
Okay, I was like, where are we going with this?
I'm just saying, if a female wants to act like a traditional female and dress up and go out, more power to you. And if you don't want to, then you can do that as well. That's all I'm saying.
Want to go? Sure, I get what you're saying, but we don't want to go down this rabbit hole because what is traditional and why are there traditions? Why are there gender roles and stereotypes, Dan? Because
I was born in 1985 and that's what it was. I don't know how else to tell
you. That's what I mean. So if we want to get down this rabbit hole, I mean, it's pretty annoying to be told this is how you are supposed to act if this is your gender. So
right, Alice in Wonderland. I'm gonna Alice in Wonderland in it, and I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay, here we go. Tell us in the comment section all about that. All right, here we go. Let's get into the challenge of the evening. Yes.
Yes.
It was called Turning Agents, and I'd love to get your opinion on the entire challenge before I tell you my opinion.
Okay, the entire challenge. I felt that it went by quick and you can kind of tell who's going to win by the way that they give the longest edits of the challenge to the people that are typically in the top 3. Like you see their part of the competition for longer. I thought that the game was actually harder. As it transpired, I realized that it was harder than I originally thought. That the cars are actually going a lot faster and they're actually pretty far away from the bus that had the symbols on it. So it actually seemed like it was quite difficult to do in a certain situation if your eyes aren't as good and you're getting jerked around. But other than that, it wasn't the most exciting.
Right. Okay. So finally, I almost got you to say that you didn't enjoy the challenge. You almost said it. I feel like you've never said it before. This was the worst challenge of the season to watch. Enjoy. I got dizzy watching it. I really got dizzy watching it. I also got hungry for donuts. And besides that, that was all I felt about it. I thought it was boring AF. I didn't
I
enjoy
think
it
it
at all.
like a lot of them, it would be really fun to do. And it was
Correct.
one that I was like, ooh, I could do this one. You know, it's not like on a skyscraper or eating pig's balls. I could maybe compete in this one. But it's just one of those that didn't translate well on TV. And it's also, they're doing a lot of memory and a lot of puzzle sort of things in a lot of the daily challenges.
I'm so happy you brought that up, which brings me to my next point. When they do the number thing and looking small, we can't participate in that. It's too, I don't know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
when I keep bringing this back up, but when I'm watching Battle of the X's, all the daily challenges, if you remember this one, they had two poles on each side. They had to climb up the poles, and as a team, they had to go
Love
on
it.
each pole together.
Yes.
You and
Love
I
that one.
and everyone else can follow along in that. There's nothing hidden from us. We can see exactly what's going on. I don't have to like, they had to keep showing us little blips on the screen kind of what the hell happened, who won each time. I don't know how far apart they won from each other. These challenges don't do it for me. There's something missing. They need to go back to the old style challenges, not copy them completely, but give us the same visual aspect. I'm tired of the code. This agent thing. If they tried, I will be so mad if they do a third season of this, because all agents, you think of agents all about codes and breaking codes.
It's all about detonating bombs.
Detonating
Every
bombs.
detonate the bomb, detonate the bomb.
And it's nothing that we can see visually. I think they're really losing a lot. And I don't care about explosions. I don't care if something explodes. I just want to be able to follow along with the challenge, and I can't.
Yeah.
That's my beef.
We've said it before. It's like the simpler the game, almost the better, because you don't need much to have a really entertaining game when these people are as athletic or as crafty and witty as they are.
Right.
You don't need like the Fast and Furious shit, but we keep getting that season after season.
It's just so interesting too, because something, if no matter how simple the game is, something outrageous will happen. Someone will fail at it. Someone like Ryan Smith talked about how they want only 30% of the entire group to be able to complete it. That's what they go for when they create the challenges. They only want 30, they want everyone else to fail so that it gets entertaining and and whatnot. And I'm like, well then what was that tonight? Everyone seemed to decode it no problem. I don't know who the hell was winning. Who failed at it? We don't even know.
To your point too, and if Mr. Ryan Smith is saying this, I felt like they could have made this challenge particularly harder. I actually thought going into it that what you had to do was memorize the code as you're on the car and then run to a different area where you could no longer see the truck, and you have to memorize it and then go off of that memory to be able to detonate your bomb and open the lockbox. But they get to use the bus as a reference the whole time. Yeah. So it's like you can make these challenges a lot harder, and I don't know why they're going so easy.
They'd have to unstrap them from the car. They can't just jump off the car. So I think it's just too much. But yeah, this is, to me, this was the worst challenge of the season so far. I know we're only on episode 5, but
yeah, I think, now that I'm thinking about that again, they didn't have to unstrap them. They could have just driven them to an area far away from the bus so they didn't have to look at the bus, because I do feel like the challenges in past seasons, we're talking about them being simple, but I felt like they really did challenge you, for lack of a better word. And I think that now they're starting to get a little bit easier. Like this challenge was way too easy. It could have been tougher.
I would
they needed like an extra layer that they used to have in past seasons, and they didn't have it on this one.
Agreed. Okay, here are your top 3 finalists: Josh and Ashley, Casey and Emmanuel, Fessy and Esther. Can you tell me anything that those 3 teams have in common?
They keep winning. Well, the thing that pops out to me is Esther and Fessy. I know it's too early to take a shot at them, but people have to try to get them out soon because they're just running these challenges. What else? What else do I notice?
I can tell you if you want, but I'll read. Want me to read them to you again?
No, I have them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I'm looking for though.
Each team has a Big Brother contestant on it. Each team,
Funny. I think
all
that's
three
fun. I
Big
don't think that
Brother that
means anything.
what's that?
I think that's just coincidence. I don't think that means anything.
No, I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying all the Big Brother teams are really, if they work together, look at this, top three teams, but Big Brother can't seem to get along right now. Casey and Emmanuel end up winning. I really wish it was either Josh or Fessy winning though, because then if they got in more of a fight in the house, they could really throw each other in. I'm not sure Casey will throw a Josh or I guess she wouldn't throw a Fessy, and she really loves Fessy. But I really wish that Josh or Fessy won, because then there might be some more action instead of the typical rookie going in. But then, we'll see.
Actually, despite what seems to be the trend on our show and popular opinion, I wanted Josh to win because I wanted him. I was like, oh, this would be so sick if Josh won. And he just was like, I'm going to throw in Fessy. But that probably wouldn't have been a wise move for him anyway. And we always want the big shots and they're never taken anyway. So I would have been disappointed. But that was like my ultimate hope for the end of the challenge.
100%. I wanted Josh and Ashley to win when I found out the final three, so that could happen. Yeah.
I was happy that Emmanuel and Casey won though, because they haven't won anything yet this season. And it was refreshing, I guess, because we've seen Fessy win a few times. But again, with Casey and Emmanuel strategizing, it's too early to take a shot. So it's kind of just, they can't even really do anything with this power. All it does is confirm that they're safe.
Well, they could technically do something with the power. They know that Emmy and Huey are most likely going in during nominations, which we don't know about yet because it hasn't happened. And then in theory, they can vote in whoever the hell they want when they get there to the lair. They could vote in Josh and another vet that's a female. They could do whatever they want.
Yeah, they definitely could. However, and this is not to sleep on Emmy and Huey, but they are rookies and they're less experienced. So the chances of them coming back are a lot slimmer than taking a big shot. If you're going to take a big shot, you should secure that shot by knowing who you're sending down is going to go against like an equal threat.
So yeah, because I mean, you still have plenty of rookies. You have Jeremiah's there. You have Ed. You have you can't do Emmanuel there. You have Logan, and you have Priscilla, Bettina. I think Priscilla and Bettina are next up probably for the girls going in. There's Esther. You could throw in Esther because they think that she's pretty strong. So they have a ton of great rookie options to throw down there, and I don't think that they will throw in a vet unless Casey gets really mad at Josh in this next half episode that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. And to Huey's credit, he has already taken out a really good team, Coriel and Michelle, but they were also rookies. So it's that experience factor as well. They're not used to doing janky shit with their hands in handcuffs on pipes, but you throw a vet down there, they're going to figure it out because they've been in this challenge too many times where they kind of figure out how to work in those sort of situations.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think Emmy is a little bit she gets freaked out and she gets overwhelmed, that I don't see her like really mentally locking in to the elimination versus a vet who would. So I think it would be too early for Casey and Emmanuel. So I'm trying to look at this game also as if I was in it and being more receptive to the fact that people are not going to take big shots, even though it's a reality TV show and we love it for the entertainment. Like I was saying last time, we just got to ride the wave. I can't keep getting disappointed by them not taking shots. It's like they have to play the smart game.
So you had mentioned that they're either showing a lot of Emmy because she's going home this next episode, or because she could become like this, maybe she could win another elimination and then like really show that she's showing the longevity that she could have in this game. And I think it's going to be okay. No.
Hot take. Conspiracy take. If she gets launched into pop star fame, MTV wants to say, well, you heard it here first. We started her career.
They played her legit song tonight, even showed her in the captions on the bottom corner that it was Emmy, whatever her last name, song, and the name of the song, Alien. And we're going to get into that. But my prediction for Emmy is that she goes into elimination next episode and she wins, because I think they're showing her this much to show like, hey, we want to have this girl back on the challenge. I really do think that she's going to win the next challenge. But and that's why they're showing her so much. But we'll figure, we'll see. Let's go to the club where we do get to hear Emmy sing. We get to hear her song Alien. I'm an alien. I'm an alien. Time to disappear. Wonderful lyrics. What did you think of? And be honest. Be honest. You can be honest.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
The song. Did you like her singing voice? Give honesty. Honestly.
Honesty is that I enjoyed it when the beat came in and
it wasn't her real voice.
The song. Okay. Oh fuck. More so because I love a good like pop, upbeat, feel good, dancey song.
Yeah.
But it was very brave of her to go up there and she let it out. And it's not that she wasn't good. It was awkward. It was awkward.
her voice, now I know she's probably yelling all day and screaming, so her voice probably wasn't in the best shape to be singing. But let's be real. Not that I'm not a great singer, but she has a mediocre voice. It's not bad to listen to, but it's not like, oh my God, she deserves to be the next Mariah Carey. Like, let's just be real here. And when the song did come on, notice how it was auto-tuned like crazy. Like that's just how that's a pop song, and that's what she's going for, and that's great, and that's fine. But yeah, the chorus was super whatever, but I was singing along to it. I enjoyed it, but it's not gonna like it's a very it's all very just fun and poppy.
It was no On Display by Melissa from Real Housewives.
Now, I haven't heard that song, but if you watched the Jersey Shore reunion, which you haven't watched, they actually debuted one of, oh my God, what's her name? The one, Dirty Little Hamster. Oh my God.
No.
What's her name?
Angelina.
Thank you. I knew it was an A.
Staten
Angelina's first. Now her song is such hot garbage compared to.
Song.
She raps. Oh, she raps.
Daniel. What? I cannot. That has to be satire.
It's a real song. They put her name. They put Angelina's name in the bottom and said it was her song.
No.
She recorded this damn thing.
Do you want to know a funny Angelina story? Because I live in New Jersey.
Okay.
That there's a Home Depot around the corner from where my fiance and I live, and he went to Home Depot because the contractor, he's standing in line. He's like, I hear this voice, this fucking prominent, unforgettable, just super recognizable voice. He's like, I swear this is Angelina from the Jersey Shore.
And it was?
Turned around, it is in our Home Depot in New Jersey. And I'm like, is that not the most Jersey thing ever? Yelling on the phone to whoever, like a home remodeler or something, but like, what is she doing down here? She's Staten Island girl.
Well, she was clearly bought a house outside of Staten Island or something, and she was doing something with it to fix it up.
So listen, y'all, you think going to LA and Hollywood is where you're going to see the celebrities? No, just come to Central New Jersey.
All right, great. This is good behind the scenes stuff. This is fun stories. Let's get into what else happened at this club. Josh and Esther, we talked about them getting all cute. Okay.
What happened at this club was that everyone looked so good. Everyone like really brought it tonight. The looks.
Yeah, like, and I meant to tell you at the beginning of the episode, Amber B's hair and during the vignettes, she had it like waved over and it was like super big. I said it was fire. Her hair was fire.
She was so beautiful. It actually like hurts for me to look at her. I'm like,
she had her hair in two cute little buns at the club. However, Berna says that Amber is fake because she's always walking around saying how nice she is. And that means that you're fake. And then after we get into the pizza party thing, we'll talk about that more. But Amber, I was not feeling Amber in this episode. I didn't like the way she was acting for a couple reasons. First, the way the shots that they kept showing of her at the club, like just like like freaking out, dancing with Jeremiah, annoyed me. And then the stuff that she was saying at the pizza party. Look, we get it. Why is get over the fact that you were blindsided. I'm tired of hearing about it. I feel like 10 years from now, she's still going to be talking about getting blindsided by Fessy in season 36 of the damn challenge last season. You know, I'm over it. But please tell me how you feel about the whole Amber
Well,
situation.
wow. Okay. There's a lot to unpack about this because
Start
I feel
unpacking. I'm ready.
I'm trying to, because I feel like my mind hasn't even fully unpacked it yet. But basically, nothing else in this episode sticks out to me or feels important at all, other than the last 10 minutes. This whole Fessy Amber argument, then Josh comes in. Everything else is boring. And I felt like that watching the whole episode. I'm like, this is really kind of a sleeper. And then towards the end, that's when everything happens all at once. I'm like, wait, I need to unpack what's going on here, because I don't know what it is about Amber that I feel defensive for her, where I'm like biased or blinded, but for some reason I feel almost bad for her. However, if the entire house and even rookies who don't even really, they don't know her from last season, so they can only attest to this season, the fact that everyone's getting this feeling that she is fake, or she's annoying, or they're rubbing her the wrong way, like there has to be some truth to that. I'm not in the house, I don't know her personally, I'm not with her every day, I don't hear her in conversations, but for some reason I can't help but feel a little bit bad, because I'm still not understanding what she ever did wrong here. Everyone, I want to say I feel like she's being villainized. However, at the same time, everybody in this house feels some type of way about her, and it's all the same way. They're all in the same group. So there has to be some sort of truth to that.
The rookies only know her from this season. So they're basing it purely on this season. And I'm not sure the producers are showing us all the little ways that she may act out, because it's not important enough to storyline. And also, they have enough villains on this show, and she won last season. So I'm wondering if the producers are trying to keep her as the Miss America, the one that you're supposed to like and love and all that stuff. But there's clearly something going on we're not seeing. And if you in the comment section can write down, tell us any behind the scenes stuff that you know, like why is everyone treating Amber as if she is this fake person? But it is annoying me that she keeps bringing up the blindsiding thing, because I'm sorry, but we talked about this like maybe last season. You and I talked about the fact, like, why do we have to tell someone we're throwing them in? Why does it have to be this common courtesy BS, especially if you don't really like the person or don't associate with them? Why do I have to come to you and say, hey, when you're packing up tonight, pack up with the intent that you might not come back? Why? Just always be ready. Wasn't that one of Darrell's famous sayings?
You
On
don't
the
gotta
show?
get ready because he stays ready.
That's what I'm talking about. You are. So Darrell, I'm
I
following.
think about that all the time.
What's that?
It's one of like the Anissa quote that I always think about. I always think about the Darrell one
The Darrell
too.
quote. Yeah. So like, just why can't you just like always be ready? What's the problem? Like, you're on a show where the purpose is to go into eliminations and come back and win, and then not go home. Like, just
Of course.
I'm over it. I can't do it.
Ultimately agree with you. And again, going back to our favorite season ever, which will always be our reference point, is Battle of the Exes. What do we love about that season is that they would just take the L's. If they got voted in, they got voted in. And then if they came back, they wouldn't necessarily like persecute the other person who voted them in. They just took it because it's a challenge, it's a game show, and the purpose is to beat other people. So there isn't really a time and place to be super nice to each other. However, I think that the climate of the show is changing, and the way that people have started to feel about their alliances and loyalty, it's now a completely different show in that capacity. Now everybody does feel blindsided, and now everybody does take it emotionally. So if that seems to be like the herd mentality, Amber's kind of just doing what everyone else in the last few seasons have done too. Everybody has been calling each other snakes left and right. They've been taking it to heart. They've been using other people voting them in as ammo to then go back and vote that person in. So I really don't feel like she's doing anything that different. And I think the situations can also be nuanced. The reasons why she's so pissed is because she thought she was in a Big Brother alliance, and she wasn't told that she was going to be thrown in and that Fessy was going back on their alliance. So I understand that she feels bothered by it. And also, the reason she keeps bringing it up is because there never was closure. Some people need that. Some people can shake it off and be like, I don't give a fuck what they think. I'm moving on. I got myself. I know myself. I'm moving forward. But she clearly needs to close that door. So she still has it. It's still bothering her. And you're in a house where you don't have anything else to do but be around people. And if you're always having to look at Fessy and be around him, you're always going to be reminded about what pissed you off about him. So it needs to be talked about, I think, for her to move on and shut up about it.
Yeah, you make a ton of great points. Very well said. And I think we can leave it at that. Like I don't even have a response to it because
No, so much more.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just over her talking about it. So it's like, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. But Amanda, enough. Like just at this point, not to trust them anymore. And I get there's no closure though. You're right. I mean, I can't argue it.
Yeah. I mean, you're so annoyed at it that you called her the wrong name. You just called her Amanda.
I called her Amanda.
So you're so pissed off that you are done even acknowledging her by her real name. But here's the other thing. Sorry, I just have, because I don't know why. Sometimes like the fights and people confronting each other is like what makes me think the most on the show, which is sad. I don't know why. I feel like I'm very like psychological and like human interaction person. It intrigues me. And I understand everyone can have their own opinion. So if they feel that Amber is annoying, I can totally get that. You're allowed to feel that she's annoying. It's what's confusing me is why they're calling her fake. And that seems to bother me a little bit. But however, we're not seeing all of it. So I'm just curious as to why she's being called fake.
So you saw her at the club and I know they were purposely showing shots of her acting like she was acting for the camera. She was pointing at the camera. She kept like screaming. Like I think, and she's obviously very good looking. Girls get jealous of other girls. And if it's coming off as fake to another woman, can't she perceive, or if it's coming off as annoying to another woman, can she perceive her as being fake because she's just annoyed by her? Is there any possibility in that where someone's annoying you so much, you're like, oh, that person's just fake to me. They're not being their true selves. They're hamming it up for the camera in a way. Because the shots that they showed of her annoyed the shit out of me at the club. and by the way, she looked gorgeous. So it takes a lot for me to look at a gorgeous woman and say, you're annoying me because it's that initial just attraction. But yes, she annoyed the snot out of me. I didn't swear. At the club.
Swear enough for the both of us, but I just thought she was feeling herself. She was acting like she was in a music video. It was cute. It's not harming anybody. So again, understand that it could be annoying. Be annoyed all you want. Correct. Totally. I just don't know if fake is the right label because it comes back to, so when Amber and Fessy really get into it, it comes down to like Fessy won't apologize or acknowledge. And he also says in his confessional, maybe I should say I'm sorry to her and apologize, and maybe she should apologize to me. And I'm like, but for fucking what? What does she need to apologize for?
Well, I honestly thought that Fessy at the beginning, let me make this clear, at the beginning of this whole argument with everybody, because everybody's jumping on Fessy, everybody's starting things that aren't true. So we have to give some issues to Tori. Tori is a big liar in this. She told that he stole the pizza, which he didn't. And then later on, when Fessy, who's being very calm, is confronted by Josh, you see Corey's little head pop up on the side and go, oh, trying to get them going, where Fessy's literally just trying to chill the situation out. Now, Fessy at the end hits Josh in the face like this. I'm pretty sure Fessy is definitely going home next episode because of that, by the way. And let's also realize Esther throws water in Amber B's face, therefore also escalating the situation. And Fessy, if you see him on the side of it, he's got his hands in his pockets, just talking quietly. He's trying to like almost calm the situation down. I hate being on Fessy's side, but I almost was. But yeah.
I agree that the people who this fight really involved, which is Fessy and Amber, were being the most calm, and they probably would have talked it out if it wasn't for everybody else in the room amping up the situation and acting like zoo animals for no fucking reason. It gave me so much anxiety, and it reminded me of high school, and I felt anxious for them because I was like, you guys are all grown ass adults and you're acting like this is a middle school, high school playground fight. Amber and Fessy, even though they started to like raise their voices a little bit, for the most part, they would have worked it out and talked it out. They were actually like verbalizing and conversing and being calm. It was everyone else standing on chairs, yelling, oh, you know, that then all of a sudden, I feel like their egos are a little bit broken. Everybody involved because they feel like everyone's making fun of them. And then it's almost embarrassing to be like in a fight with someone. Now it becomes a thing of like ego. And now you just need to get defensive towards yourself. So that the whole assholes in the house ruined it.
Couple of things here. Tori went into the pool room to get Josh. Josh wasn't even in that section of the
Right.
house. Tori goes and pulls him in. I'm telling you, Tori is to blame for a lot of this crap that happens here. And second, there's so much yelling from the peanut gallery, as they call it, with Tori and Corey. I can't even, I'm trying to read all the damn subtitles, but my TV or my phone here is picking up everybody others. So I couldn't read what the actual conversation was. It was hard to follow along if they were even working it out or not. It was it was a frustrating fight to watch just because I really wanted to like understand what the conflict was here. But it was really, to me, it was Tori. And I think she needs to get more. I wonder if she will, the sweetheart of the challenge that is Tori. I wonder if they'll mention that in the podcast with her and Anissa. And I wonder if she'll take blame for, like, in theory, if she starts it and actually Fessy goes home for that hit, that's on Tori a little bit for all that. But then again, her and Fessy didn't have a good, apparently she didn't like the way he made love to her or something like that, because she don't like, she doesn't like Fessy anymore. But, you know, I mean, that's
thing. Yeah, Tori was definitely an instigator.
Insta what? Instagrammer?
I said Instagrator.
I know you.
She was definitely an Insta cheese grater in this situation. And Amber B did say, go get Josh. So maybe she was just like, oh, I'm going to be the one to do it. But she was an instigator for sure. Also, there's alcohol involved.
I know.
And God, that changes everything. It really just makes everyone their lapse of judgment. And have you ever had like beer muscles when you think you're definitely hotter and stronger than you think? And I don't mean hotter as in superficially, like looks wise. I mean, like you just think that you're like, you got it that night because you had.
I have that sober. So there you go.
Like you got it like that. Like no one's gonna fuck with me tonight. So I that definitely was involved too.
And so what do we think so there's got to be something that we're not seeing here, because Esther got so mad that she threw a drink on her. Like, so wait, how, there's got to be others, like she obviously thinks she's fake. There must have been more buildup that we didn't see, or did you just think she just did it in the moment? Like, I feel like,
no, I almost forgot about Esther. So I'm glad that you brought this up, because this was another really interesting part. This is like a part A and B to what I was saying about, obviously there must be value to what people in the house are feeling and thinking about Amber. And it's curious that Esther said, Amber, you knew you were going in though, but Amber's pleading that, no, I didn't know I was going in. So it's kind of like really conflicting there, because whereas Esther getting this information, was Amber outwardly telling people that she acknowledged that Fessy was going to send her in, or is Esther fabricating? It's a he said, she said, so I just don't know. But I mean, Esther, she needed to say what she needed to say because Fessy is her partner. So even though I like Amber, like I really like Esther too, and she needed to speak what she needed to say too.
This is where it gets messy. What if the producers from that following challenge, what if they just hid all the conversations of people in the house talking, hey, Amber, we think Fessy's going to throw you in, so that they can have a bigger reaction at the end when she claims that she's been blindsided? Because Josh right away in the lair, he's like, no, change your mind. So if there was talk in the house, because him and Fessy talked, why wouldn't Josh then go and tell Amber, hey, just, you know, I just talked to Josh, you're, you know, he might throw you in. Like, if Josh is such a big fan of Amber, he would have gone and told her right away. I think Amber did know, because I'm just saying, Fessy and Josh had a conversation about it. Josh said, hey, I might throw in Amber. Josh got upset with Fessy. What is Josh going to go do now after that conversation? He's going to go and talk to Amber. However, the producers, in theory, decided not to show us that conversation, and then it looks like it's a blindside. So I think that Amber knew a little bit more than she claims. Therefore, was she ever really blindsided?
Right. So she herself could be fabricating this blindside, and that's why it's pissing everybody off. So again, we don't know shit.
I know,
so and that's I'm saying really has no value. It's just my opinion based
But
on
these
watching
are
the
great.
episode.
But see, that's what this show's about. This show's about hot takes, opinions, and just spitting knowledge if we know anything, and people love
Yeah.
it. So it's perfect. And tell us in
Um,
the comments below if you know more about if she was really blindsided or not. Amber B.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say, hey, everybody in the comments, do you think that Amber B knew that Fessy was gonna throw her in? And your perception on the Josh Fessy conversation actually made me think of something else. It made me think about why Josh was so mad at Fessy and almost tried to physically attack him when he decided to throw in Amber. And I think it's because maybe he didn't tell Amber that they had that conversation because he thought he got through to Fessy.
Sure.
And because he was like, no, Fessy, it's too early, don't do it. And Fessy was like, okay, yeah. Basically lying to Josh's face. So I think Josh also felt like maybe a guilt factor
that he didn't
not
go tell her, right?
for not warning Amber, or he just felt like, damn, you really played, like you told me you thought my idea was sick. You're like, yeah, bro, I'm not gonna throw in Amber. Brilliant idea, friend. And then you did, playing me like a fiddle too.
The last thing that I wanted to talk about with this fight is that Josh goes up to Fessy. He's like, you haven't won anything. You haven't won anything. But I'm thinking to myself, Josh, you've won less than Fessy has, though. Because I don't think Josh has ever even been to a final. At least in the 2 seasons Fessy did, I believe he made it to the final twice and just got 4th place twice. So I don't know where Josh's motivation for that was, because yes, Josh hasn't won anything, but how do you make fun of someone that you've won less than? Does that make sense?
It's crazy too, because it's almost, it reminded me of a sibling fight. It's like the closer you are with somebody and the more you love someone, you could also, like, your words could shoot to kill them. So I think Josh really exposed maybe some really like suppressed, internalized issues he has with Fessy. And I think that Josh was showing in that moment that maybe he thinks Fessy is egotistical or thinks that he's hotter shit than he is, because it seems like that's what Josh was alluding to. It seems like he was fed up with Fessy thinking that he's the shit, at least from Josh's eyes. It sounds like, you know, he was calling him out for thinking that he's better than he is.
Yeah. Well, if you're still watching, hashtag Jester versus Fester, if you want.
Yeah.
Which it kind of was that, but not really.
Please leave your comments on what you think about this fight, because I really do read the comments and I actually love getting other people's perspectives, because I just never know how to feel about things.
Yeah. And if you hashtag Jester versus Fester, I'll reply to it. I'll write something fun in there.
Although Dirty Little Hamster was the best hashtag I think we had.
We got some people writing that. That was fun.
Dirty Little Hamster.
Any final thoughts on episode 5, Alien?
I don't know when they pick and choose to make episodes an hour long or an hour and a half long.
I thought it was the perfect, I loved it tonight. I mean, I wish they could, I like I said, I like a full episode. I don't like these half episodes, but I did love that it was only an hour. It flew by. I wasn't there like, oh my God, there's 30 more minutes. And I'm just not, like, I'm bored. Like, I know it was a slower episode, like you said, but it flew by to me.
Yeah.
I wish all the episodes were an hour, but I want a full show in there.
Yeah. I guess it was more so like, all right, do you, MTV? I guess you don't got to keep it consistent with us. Like, it's playing into my trust issues. One time you're an hour and a half, the next week without warning you're an hour. I just don't, who are you going to be today?
Yeah. So do they do one more hour next week and then go back to an hour and a half after that? Because maybe this next chunk of a half episode was just so much content they needed that they have to do one more hour here and then go back to an hour and a half.
Right.
Like, maybe something big really happens. I mean, did you watch the next on?
I did.
Okay. And you see who comes to the house. We won't say it out loud because people are going to be upset by it. Oh, you want to say it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we can say, well, hey, stop watching right now if you don't want this spoiler. We'll give you some time to shut it off. Who comes to the house, Jenna?
The handler.
The handler, TJ, comes to the house, and basically that means someone's going home. And my prediction is it's definitely got to be Fessy for hitting Josh square in the head. What do you think? Why is TJ at the house? You tell me.
I'm just laughing because I guess it is still physical and it's violent in its intention. I don't even know if it's intended to be violent. Just a little get out of my face. Does that really
Jenna,
help him going
Jenna,
home?
we've talked about this. I agree. I don't think he should go home for something like this. The show's getting softer. Hell, people are upset by blindsides. People are getting softer. It's the way of the world right now. So yes or no, is Fessy going home because of the hit? Just give me a yes or no prediction.
It's either Fessy or it's Esther for throwing the drink.
I don't think they've gone that soft with the drink. I think you're still allowed, unless it's like a fireball where the drink's lit on fire and then you throw. I think you're still allowed
like
to throw
top shelf liquor, and the producers are just like, "Why'd you have to waste
our alcohol?
the alcohol that we purchased for this?" Yeah, it's gotta be Fessy then. Or did Josh do? I don't know. That fight was just there was so convoluted. I don't remember who made the first.
It was
push.
I slowed it down, or they showed a slowdown. It was Fessy hitting Josh first.
Okay.
So.
Wow, what a way to get Fessy out of the house. You could even say it's a strategy. Like that's what people used to try to do to CT because they knew they couldn't beat him. They would just try to make him actually punch them so he'd have to go home.
And I hate to say this, but the third week in a row, I'm going to say it again. I said people are going to go home for other reasons besides eliminations. I had a feeling. And if he goes home for a physical altercation, then there's another one for you. Fessy bites the dust, as they say. But okay, great combo, Jenna. Always a pleasure talking with you. And
you too, Zan. You too.
And we'll see you all soon. Make sure to check out our Patreon, The Challenge After Show. We just put up an episode on Monday. You and I did, Jenna.
We did, and I'm telling them to comment.
It was favorite reality shows, our favorite reality shows of all time. We both gave our top 5. People are commenting on theirs as well in the Patreon comment section, so that was nice to see. Good. Yes, we'll see you all next Wednesday for episode 6 of the challenge. Bye, y'all.
Tilted plant.